All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Following last year's meltdown in the playoffs, honestly, I was extremely surprised that the Los Angeles Chargers decided to retain head coach Brandon Staley. The reason why I say this is because historically, when teams have bad playoff collapses like the Chargers did last year when they squandered that 27-point lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the wild card round, there tends to be a carryover to the following season if said team still has the same coach. And in my opinion, this is what we've seen for a good chunk of the season from the 2023 version of the Chargers. And it's been a common theme this year for the Lightning Bolts as we've seen them blow leads in games. They started off in week number one at home to Miami. They followed it up in week number two against Tennessee. You think about it blowing a lead at home against the Detroit Lions. They followed that up with a calamity of errors in the following game against the Green Bay Packers. And on top of that, we've seen the injury bug hit this team. You're talking about a Chargers club right now that is 5-8. They have no franchise quarterback as Justin Herbert is done for the year, and he's tried to work through a lot of hand injuries this year, and finally he succumbed to it, and the Chargers are going to have to go with backup Easton Stick for the remainder of the year. Joey Bosa's out again, so it's just one of those where it's a calamity of things that we've seen from the Chargers, the injuries to so many key players, finding ways to lose games that they should win. The Chargers, in my opinion, on paper, continue to have one of the most talented teams in the National Football League. But of course, championships and games for that matter are not won on paper. You have to go out there and execute. And Los Angeles has not done enough of that. And of course, it's tougher to fire the players than it is for the head coach. So my question is, will Brandon Staley or should Brandon Staley be back as Chargers head coach for 2024? Now, in my opinion, I really don't think that Brandon Staley is head coaching material in the National Football League. He has a defensive background on his resume. You think about what he has done as an assistant coach in the National Football League. Outside linebackers coach for the Chicago Bears in 2017 and 2018. Outside linebackers coach for the Denver Broncos in 2019, defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams in 2020. And then, of course, now the head coach for the Chargers as he is in his third season there. But my thing is this: you look at Brandon Staley as an assistant coach in the National Football League. In my opinion, he's done it off of the coattails of the people that he's coaching. I mean, look, you had Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd as your outside linebackers when you were with the Chicago Bears. That would make a lot of coaches look good, okay, due to their ability. You go to Denver in 2019 as their outside linebackers coach. And of course, who do you have there? Von Miller, arguably the best pass rusher in Broncos history. You then go to the Los Angeles Rams in 2020 as their defensive coordinator. Okay. You've got Aaron Donald up front, arguably, one of, if not the greatest defensive tackles that the NFL has ever seen. And then, of course, you've got Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey. My point is, to me, I think he fed off of the fact that he had great players that he was coaching, not to make light of him being, head coach worthy in this league. And I think we've seen it with the indecisiveness in the 2+ years that he has had as Chargers head coach. And like I said at the beginning, I think there is some carryover from 2022 to this team right now. Again, too much talent on this Los Angeles Chargers team. You look at the individual stats this year. Khalil Mack has 15 sacks so far, could be in line for a 20-sack season. You look at Keenan Allen, continues to put up solid numbers, has had some key drops this year. But then you look at the drop off behind Keenan Allen. Okay, we're talking about a guy that has 108 receptions so far this season. And now the injury bug is starting to catch up with him. More than 1,200 receiving yards and seven touchdowns. The next guy up as far as receptions on the Chargers this year, because again, Mike Williams has been out, has been running back Austin Eckler. So you're talking about going from 108 receptions with Keenan Allen to just 36 with Austin Eckler, and he's second on the team in receptions. Once you go for the yardage, it's Joshua Palmer at 377 yards, and Joshua Palmer has only played in 8 games for the Chargers. So a lot of that, accounts for stuff. We saw this team in the offseason bring in Kellen Moore from the Dallas Cowboys to be their offensive coordinator. And of course, that was met with some excitement as far as what he could do with this offense. The Chargers are not putting up yards per game like they were last season. I think part of that has to do with the injuries. But nonetheless, the National Football League, like any other business, is it's all about the productivity. And of course, in this case, how many games do you win? How many games do you not lose? And the Chargers have not improved in that category under Brandon Staley. I think, there are several openings that we're probably going to see this offseason. I think New England is going to be looking for a new head coach. I think the same thing with Washington. And I'm definitely going to put the Los Angeles Chargers in that mix. The question is going to be, is the Spanos family going to once again go for a relative unknown at the head coaching position, or are they going to go with a more established brand? You look at it, of course, the Rams. I know that the Rams and the Chargers both previously played in LA. Nonetheless, the Chargers for really only a year before they had their bread buttered in San Diego. But nonetheless, you're in LA, and it just comes down to whether or not the Spanos family wants to make a splash or not. You look at this remaining schedule, excuse me, for the Chargers without Justin Herbert under center or quarterback, and it's not a good one. They're at the Raiders tomorrow night. The Raiders have been playing some good ball as of late. They then host the Buffalo Bills, who are looking to get back on track as they head into the final stages of their postseason push. Then they're at Denver, and the Broncos are playing some good ball. The Broncos just beat the Chargers at home this past Sunday, 24-7, and then they finish up at home against the Kansas City Chiefs, a Chiefs team that definitely is probably looking to get back on track as they want to get to the postseason. So I don't see, a litany of wins in this final quartet of games for the Los Angeles Chargers. Almost said San Diego. And I think, unlike last year, I really do think that the Spanos family is going to be more compelled. Most notably, Dean Spanos is going to be more compelled to go out there and make a head coaching change. You have your franchise quarterback, Justin Herbert, one of the younger and more electrifying players at his position in the National Football League. The Chargers have invested a lot of money into Justin Herbert, and now it's all about trying to put a team around him. And with that said, the Chargers have gone out there talent wise and put, players around Justin Herbert. You got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa rushing the passer. They went out there and spent a lot of money on not on Asante Samuel, excuse me, J.C. Jackson, but they did draft Asante Samuel Jr. And you have Derwin James in that secondary. You had a Mike Williams who's injured. You have a Keenan Allen, but it just has not come together. So it's going to be interesting to see if there are going to be changes made in the offseason for the Chargers. I do believe that there will be. And I do think that Brandon Staley is coaching his final games for the Lightning Bolts. So let's see how things will look for the Chargers as the regular season and possibly Brandon Staley's tenure with the team are winding down. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.